Hello, dear friends. Welcome to the Pink Room Stories once again. After a long time, I'm posting some stories in this channel, and this will be a series of ghost stories from Shimla. So, the first story which I'm going to narrate is Sister Shanti and the English Nurse. Sister Kamla looked out of her hostel window. It had been snowing since the last 3 days in Shimla, slow and steady. A white carpet stretched endlessly where once stood the ground, flower beds, and the benches. It all looked pure and beautiful. It was the first time she had seen snow. She had come back today after a 3 day leave. She had walked 10 kilometers from Jatog as no buses were plying due to heavy snowfall. She was a student nurse and belonged to Bilaspur district. Sister Kamla was dead tired after the arduous walk and wanted to sleep for 24 hours, but this was not possible. Her shift started at 8 o'clock in the night. Moreover, there were so many errands to be completed before rushing to the hospital, ironing her dress, cleaning her shoes, taking a bath, and having dinner. At about 10 minutes to 8, she reached the hospital, an old rickety building popularly known as Snowdon. The sisters' duty room was part of the male ward. The male ward was divided into two. Like a stage, you climbed a few steps to reach the second part where the nursing station was situated. From the station, you could see all the beds in the male ward below. The dead house was at the back. Common bathrooms were near the dead house. The flooring was wooden and the building had a lot of zigzag entrances and exits with so many doors. Small and big rooms. Nurses called it a booth bungalow jokingly. Sister Kamla sighed with relief to find that ward sister Ursem was nowhere in sight. Everyone was really scared of her. If there was just a small wrinkle on the dress, the ward sister would take your class as if you had committed a murder. If you were not alert enough to respond immediately to a patient's call, she would reprimand you so severely in front of everyone that the next time, even if a patient did not call, you would be there. She was very particular with everything, insisting on the proper way to hold and apply an injection, inserting cannula for intravenous therapy, filling out the treatment chart, measuring the fluid bags, and administering medicine. A small mistake, and she made you feel like dirt. Everything had to be perfect and as per the book. Sister Kamla knew ward sister Ursem was somewhere in the building and she was on duty till 10 o'clock. So there wasn't any scope for carelessness. She would suddenly appear from nowhere just when you had committed a mistake. Two student nurses were on duty that night, both senior to Sister Kamla. Then there was a resident doctor. She must do everything right till ward sister Ursem left, and then possibly she would be able to catch a few hours of sleep. During winters, there were not many patients, so the student nurses took turns to nap for 3 to 4 hours. She went through the case files, checked the prescription changes, and flipped through the diet charts and case histories. There were 40 patients in all, with 5 of them critically ill who had to be checked regularly in the night. Nearly half of the patients were on IV fluids, so the bottles had to be changed. Normally, the nurses started the last bottle around midnight at a slower infusion rate so that the fluid could go on till 7 in the morning when the next shift was about to start. Sister Kamla did the needful and noted all important observations in the file. It was quiet in the ward. As Sister Kamla flipped through the files, she heard footsteps on the wooden stairs. Someone was coming. Probably ward sister Ursem. As the sound came nearer, she recognized Sister Ursem's quick steps. She stood up from the chair in attention, scared of what she might ask her, and for God's sake, Where were the other nurses? Sister Ursaim entered the ward, did not utter a single word or even nod at Sister Kamla's greetings, and started the round as Sister Kamla tagged along with the treatment charts and files. She was in the ward for about 15 long minutes and then left. Phew, thank God. The Lady Hitler did not say anything nasty, thought Sister Kamla. She was pleased that for the first time she had handled the ward sister alone during the round and everything had gone well, though she was surprised Sister Ursaim hadn't uttered even a word to the patients or to her. This was unlike her. She hadn't even once glanced at Sister Kamla during the entire round. A few minutes later, the other two sisters came into the ward. She told them about Sister Ursaim's round. They were white with fear and were quite disturbed. They were sure to be reprimanded the next day for being late. But they were not really late. They were checking the medicines in the store and bringing in the supplies for the night. How the heck did they know that the sister would come for the round at 8:30 p.m.? The time was the time for night rounds was usually after 9 o'clock. The next couple of hours passed smoothly. Sister Kamla took the first turn to sleep from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Then, when she woke up, her companion sister was feeling unwell. She had fever, so both her seniors went off to sleep and Sister Kamla was left alone. Not much was left to be done though. One glucose bottle had to be changed. Only one patient had to be given an injection and she had to take another patient's temperature. That was all. However, half an hour later, Sister Kamla began to feel drowsy. For a few minutes, she fought with sleep, but losing the battle, she decided to lean her head on the table, only to rest, but dozed off. Suddenly, she woke up with a start. She had been slapped hard on the cheek by someone. She was terrified. She looked at the watch. It was 3 o'clock. She started screaming uncontrollably. The other two sisters came running. Patients woke up and some of them who could move from their beds started looking for the intruder. For the next few moments, there was chaos. Sister Kamla's cheek hurt. In fact, there was a clear imprint of a hand on her cheek. So hard had she been hit. No one was found. Her attacker should have been caught because she had screamed immediately when she was assaulted. In the midst of this chaos, Sister Kamla remembered her patient's temperature was to be checked, injection needed to be given, and the glucose bottle had to be changed. She uttered a cry of anguish and hurried to do the needful. A few moments later, she was found unconscious in a heap near the patient whose glucose bottle she had to change. Sister Kamla was discharged from the hospital a day later. She went on a 2-week leave to recuperate from acute stress. No one knew what was wrong with her. She had stopped talking and answered no questions. 2 weeks later, a request for extension of leave was forwarded to the hospital administration by Sister Kamla's father. It was then that ward sister Ursaim decided to meet the young student and traveled to her hometown in Bilaspur. On reaching her house, she told her family members to leave them alone. Sister Ursaim felt sorry for the girl, whose pallor was as white as chalk. The truth had to be told to her, and she had conveyed it to some other nurses as well, just as she herself had been told by her seniors. Student nurse Kamla had buried what had happened deep inside her, but when she saw Sister Ursaim, all the horror came back. She started trembling and wept like a small child. Sister Ursaim let her cry to her heart's content, and when the sobs subsided, she said softly, "I know what passed that night. It wasn't your fault. Though, in a way, it was your fault." Kamla was speechless. She just shook her head. How could ward Sister Ursaim know what had transpired? I know, child. This is related to Sister Shanti." "Sister Shanti?" mumbled the young student. Was Sister Shanti a senior nurse? She couldn't recall from the 3 months training she had undergone at the hospital. Yes, Sister Shanti. It is difficult to explain about Sister Shanti, thought Sister Ursaim. No, no, I don't know any Sister Shanti. Who is she? I'll tell you who she is. Just calm down. Was Sister Ursaim crazy? What had this got to do with Sister Shanti? Thought the girl. You don't know after you left, started Kamla, still trembling. Oh dear child, calm down. I had left in the evening that day. My younger sister had slipped in the snow and broken her ankle. I was with her all the time. What was Sister Ursain saying? Did she not remember that she had come on the round? In fact, she had come an hour earlier than her usual time, and Kamla had taken her around and updated her about all the patients. No, no, after the round, she started again. It was not me, but Sister Shanti, who. What are you saying? I don't know any Shanti. It was. Oh, listen to me. Sister Shanti transforms herself into whoever she wants to be. Transforms? Mumbled Kamla. What does she mean? Yes, calm down first and then I'll tell you everything. No one knows in which year Sister Shanti had worked in the hospital, but she was a dedicated nurse. Someone who loved her job and took great care of her patients. Then something happened to her. No one knows what. But she died very young, and since then, well, her spirit appears and disappears on its own will. But it always makes an appearance when the patients need help or when the nurse on duty is not doing her work. You mean? Sister Kamla was too astonished to react. Yes, the slap you got, the injection, the bottle, the temperature, all was done by Sister Shanti's spirit because you did not do it, said Ursaim gently. Sister Kamla was quiet. And about the round that I could not make that day, I had informed the resident doctor on duty, who had assured me that there would be no problem and he would take care of everything. Moreover, there were no serious patients. But for Sister Shanti, this wasn't so. Sister Ursaim didn't complete her sentence. Student nurse Kamla also chose to keep silent. There is nothing to be afraid of. She is a guiding spirit and has always come to help her patients in need, said Sister Ursaim finally. The young sister nodded in comprehension. She had understood the mystery now, and her heart brimmed with love and respect for the spirit and her dedication. Kamla too wanted to be like Sister Shanti. She was their teacher and there was no need to be afraid of her. But sisters like Kamla better do their duty with sincerity. She went back to the hospital along with the ward sister to continue her training. Nurse Raksha sat in the sister's room duty in the all-women hospital. For months she was in a dilemma and wanted to know the truth. She had heard about the ghost of the English nurse who would come to check on the newborns. Nurse Raksha was desperate to see the spirit, the guiding angel, who took care of the babies and ensured that no harm came to them. Whenever a newborn needed immediate help and no doctor or nurse was around, the spirit would move in and out of the ward to make sure that the nurse noticed her and rushed to take care of the sick child. She had heard about the English nurse's spirit from other nurses and quite recently from a junior colleague. This junior sister had a hysterical breakdown and had to be treated for 3 days before she was ready to take up her duties again. That too on the assurance that she would not be given night duty in the hospital until she had recovered fully. The unsuspecting junior sister had no idea about this spirit when it chanced upon her. At 1 o'clock in the night, while the ward sister was in the special ward and 2 other nurses were in the labor room assisting in a delivery, she sat alone in the nurse's duty room trying to fight sleep when she looked out of the window and saw an English woman. What a surprise! The lady was wearing a nurse's dress, not the salwar kameez they wore, but a frock with a belt, long white socks and black shoes and a different white colored starched headgear, a nightingale cap. She had seen this type of dress only in magazines. She was astonished that an English nurse was walking around the children's ward and then entering it. Speechless, she sat there mulling over what the English nurse was doing there in the middle of the night. Probably she had not seen her well Maybe it was a lady from Upper Shimla. Then she saw the English woman coming out of the ward and then entering it again. This time she saw her more clearly. No, it was no Indian woman or a Pahadan, but an English lady for sure. Her dress was so different from theirs, it was the old fashioned English dress that nurses wore in the movies. She was spellbound. What in hell's name was this lady doing here? When to her sheer disbelief, she saw her entering the children's ward again, though she had not seen her coming out. Something was definitely wrong. She couldn't pinpoint it, but now she was alert. Who was this lady? How had she entered this part of the hospital when the inner gate always remained closed at night? How would she exit? She was frantically trying to get an answer to all these questions when the lady came out of the ward again. An unknown, hair-raising dread besieged her. Suddenly she realized that this was no woman, this was something unnatural. She was from another world. Moreover, the lady was not walking but gliding, and the speed at which she was entering and coming out of the ward, no human could do that. Her mouth went dry with fear and her body trembled. Maybe she should shout, ask for help. Someone will definitely hear her, the chowkidar, the nurses, or the patients. She was scolding herself for being such a coward then. To her horror, the thing came again, gliding, crossing the windows, and entering the children's ward. She had never felt such strange fear. She was whimpering. What was this thing doing to the babies inside the ward? She thought helplessly. This made her get up and move toward the door of the sister's room. Her leg could hardly hold her as she clutched the door frame for support. And then the ghost came out of the ward and started gliding towards her. She closed her eyes and screamed as loud as her lungs would allow her, and did not stop screaming till the entire hospital staff came running towards her. Only then did she open her eyes and whispered incoherently while pointing towards the children's ward. The nurses left her there and ran into the ward. They saved the lives of two small babies. One had almost choked herself with the bed sheet, and in another case, the IV fluid bottle had turned pink since the needle, having blocked the blood due to back pressure, had begun flowing into the bottle. Both the mothers were asleep, unaware of the calamity waiting to strike their children. That night, there were just 4 children in the ward. The other 2 were fine with their mothers sleeping peacefully beside them. Had the spirit not come and gone repeatedly, the nurse would not have been able to save the children. It wanted to be noticed so the children could be saved. This English nurse was the guiding angel of the children's ward, and it was her whom his sister Raksha wanted to see. Nothing happened that night and for several other nights while Sister Raksha watched alertly. But then, how could something happen? Sister Raksha took care of babies in her ward so sincerely that there was no need for the ghost of the English nurse to come and intervene.